Matt Stepp with Dave Campbell's Texas Football back here at the Piney Woods Coaches Clinic. We are here with the head coach of the Longview Spring Hill Panthers, Coach Kelly Mercer. Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with us today.
You bet, my pleasure.
All right, Coach. Obviously, you kind of get your feet on the ground here in Longview. You've been here. This will be your third off season, if I'm correct, right? Second full off season, right?
Second full off season.
And you're obviously trying to get Longview Spring Hill back to their winning ways. I know you're in a tough district. You got a lot of great teams in there, but just talk about how you feel where the program stands today from where it was when you got here a couple years ago.
I think we're making a lot of strides in a lot of areas. One of the first things we have to do is increase our number of kids. Being in the district that we're in, we've got some bigger schools, Gilmer and Pittsburgh, so we got to get more kids out. One thing we've done, my first year here in the fall, we only suited up 65 kids 9 through 12. This year, we suited up about 85, and I'm real sure that next year we'll be over 100, 9 through 12. So we're just trying to create a place that kids want to be around, keep them out from junior high to high school, and try to play that numbers game first. That's the first thing we're trying to do. Second thing we're trying to do is just create an atmosphere, a culture that one of the things we've been focusing on this year is good enough. It's not really good enough. What Coach Moore's talking about is 99%. It's not good enough a lot of times. And if we play week in and week out, we got to have that mindset of getting better every day, a little bit more the next day. And like I said, good enough's not good enough. So just raising the expectations, teaching the kids that they're just like any other kid. They got to believe in themselves and believe in what the coaches are doing and trust the process. And I feel like we're really getting there with this second off season that we've got going right now.
All right, talk about obviously you came from Plano West out here to East Texas, and you did have a lot of familiarity out here. Talk about the adjustment, because people don't realize coaches, they have families too, and there's an adjustment when you move out, especially to a different part of the state. Talk about how the community's welcomed you and your family, and kind of how you feel about this place now.
That part of it's been, I couldn't ask for a better community to come into. My wife's an educator as well. She's an assistant principal at Spring Hill Intermediate. We've got 2 daughters. Families have been just unbelievably supportive of my family. Not put the football stuff aside. The other stuff that really matters at the end of the day has been just tremendous. At bigger places like Plano's and Frisco's and things like that, there's a lot less sense of community. A school the size of Spring Hill, you kind of almost rely on that to get things done. And one of the things I tried to preach when I first came in is the whole thing of one of us is as good as all of us. So we need all the parents to help as much as we can get out of the booster clubs and things like that. But as far as the personal side of it, we bought a house in Spring Hill. We told the community basically we're going to be here. We don't plan on going anywhere. Our kids are going to grow up here. We're going to teach here and coach here, and I think that's helped with the buy-in. I think that's helped with maybe not the kids realizing it, but the parents of those kids realizing we're just as long as they'll have us, we're going to be here and try to see this thing through.
Okay. Now talk about that sense of community. Out here having a clinic like this the first year here at East Texas. It's got to be nice to have a really good clinic with really good speakers right down the street from you to come listen to, isn't it?
It's great. I mean, you talk about down the street. Literally, I live 3 minutes from here. Whereas in the Megaplex, you go to DFW, you go to some of those, and things 30-45 minutes away. So this has been fantastic. Coach Keaton and his group have done a fantastic job of getting really as good speakers as any clinic I've been to. When you look at the guys that are speaking English,
a lot of rings on those fingers, aren't there?
Oh boy! And you're speaking to some really good coaches in that room. So the level of coaching out here, the level of athlete out here is as good as anywhere in the state, if not better. And to be able to have a clinic of this caliber out here speaks volumes of what people are doing out here. Okay. Having Chad Morris, the East Texas guy, come back and say, hey, y'all are the reason why we do what we do. Offensive line coach at Sam Houston spoke this morning. He put it in a way I've never heard it. He said, our paycheck is based on what you guys do. So why would we not do that? And that's just a testament to the coaching community, both college and high school.
Final question for you. Just a couple of years ago, you were an assistant coach trying to get your first head coaching job, and you know, going to coaching clinics and listening. I'm sure you had a lot of mentors tell you things that you needed to do at clinics and kind of give you pointers. For a guy who's been a head coach now for a couple of years, what are you telling your younger coaches when they come to clinics? What are you telling them to do when they get here?
You know, everybody wants to talk X's and O's, right? Everybody wants to talk about RPOs and all that stuff. And the thing I try to tell my young guys, and thankfully I was told this too as a young coach, and that is, X's and O's are overrated. It's not what you do, it's how you do it and who you do it with. So the things I'm telling my guys to write down is all the program stuff. Listen to Chad Morris talk about relationships. Listen to all these head coaches and all these coordinators talk about what they do for their kids in the offseason, what they do for their kids during the season. Because you can have the best athlete in the world at quarterback, but if I'm a quarterback coach and he don't want to play for me, it doesn't make a difference. So I'm trying to preach that to my guys. That's one thing that I grew up on, was creating relationships with kids, and that's more important than any X and O that you can draw. And bottom line is nowadays whoever has a pin last can score.
Oh yeah.
So
you played that game before at a clinic, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to speak at some, and after listening to people talk, and everybody picks you apart when you're speaking, and then I get up there and start talking about our stuff, and I'm looking at guys going, all we got to do is this to stop this, and it's at the end of the day, it's not necessarily what you're doing, it's how you're doing it, to the level of execution you're doing it, and then who you're doing it with, of course, and that buy-in from the kids, which is what we're trying to sell right now. I tell our guys all the time, we got to feed our kids that blue Kool-Aid, that spring milk Kool-Aid is what we're feeding them, and buy into what we're doing. So clinics like this, and that's been a common theme for almost every coach. Hey, we run 3-4 on defense. One state championship, hey, we're running 4-2-5 on defense. One state championship, we're wing team, playing 4 rounds deep. We're spread, playing 5 rounds deep. So it's not all about that. It's about you're going to have a more rewarding career. It's going to be more fun to come back to work every single day if you like what you're doing, if you like being around the kids, and bought into who you are as a person.
Coach, appreciate the time. Great words as always, and we appreciate what you do for the student athletes in the state of Texas, and good luck in 2017.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.